Okay, so we're going to begin in just a moment. And what I can say about today's lesson is that the emphasis is on twists, on yoga twists. So we'll do warm up first because of it being Australian winter, and we do need that time to warm up. So it may not look like we're going to fulfill the theme until a little bit later on. And I always like to find something meaningful to read out at the beginning of these sessions. And I came across this on Facebook, of all things, and it's a quote apparently from David Bowie. And he said, "Aging is an extraordinary process whereby you become the person you always should have been." So how that might relate to yoga is that it takes a while before you sort out what you're able to do in yoga classes, and you stop, and this is my journey with yoga, exceeding your limits and getting injuries and, maybe not using your energy well. So it takes a while for you to become the person that you should have been always. So I think that's how that works. So let's begin with, you'll need these props, a yoga block, your mat of course, a blanket, and a chair. And then we can begin. So come on up to standing. Okay. I still have my socks on for this cold Australian winter, but they're those cool socks that have a little bit of tread on the bottom of them. So I'm just going to see what they're like. I haven't used them in a class before. All right, from your standing position, have your feet a little bit apart, and then take a moment just to bring through what you know to be good yoga posture. So the spine is ascending right up through the crown of your head, the arms loose by your side, and then just a bit of softening behind your knees. And then fold your arms so that you can wrap them around your chest and bring your fingers into that armpit area, and then drop your elbows and relax your shoulders. You're going to be breathing in and expanding your lungs out to the side, and then breathing out and using your belly muscles. So really simple breathing, but a slightly exaggerated and longer breath. So breath in and breath out. I'm making a somewhat audible breath, Ujjayi breath, just because it's an anchor for the attention. So inhale fully and exhale. Let's keep going like that. And it gives you a chance to breathe into the upper part of your lungs and out to the side. And to kind of wake up that core area, the abdominal area. Take 2 more breaths like that. Keep your knees relaxed. And breathing out. And releasing your arms by your side. This way of exaggerating the breath and using the audible breathing is a way to warm up your body generally. And This next one is 2. So bring your hands across the abdomen. So I've got one below my navel, one above my navel. And then adopt, and again with your knees slightly relaxed, a kind of belly breath. It's called a bellows breath sometimes, where the breath is slightly punctuated or forced on the exhalation, very short exhalations. And then let that go too, and drop your arms by your side. So that breath is a little bit like a panting breath, and because it's somewhat forced, you might be clearing your nasal passages just like I did, which is not a bad thing. And once more, taking your comfortable upright yoga position, posture, drop your shoulders, relax your buttock muscles, and let's do a movement to elevate your arms. So at the same time as you bring your arms straight up, palms facing forward, then soften your knees and do a little knee bend. Inhale and reach for the ceiling. And then exhale, bring your arms behind the line of your body as you straighten your legs again. Turn your palms forward, scoop up that long inhalation, knees slightly bent, and exhale as though you're moving through heavy air to bring your arms behind the line of your body. Turn your wrists, turn your palms, scoop the air again. These are long breaths, long as you can make them without stressing yourself. When you bring your arms up, extend your spine, look up, chin up slightly, and then as you flex your knees and bring your arms back behind you, all the way back, bring your chin in towards your chest. Inhale, go up, look up, exhale, arms back and look down and chin in. Beautiful. This is really good preparation for chair pose, which we'll do in a moment. Let's go one more cycle. Heavy air, pull your hands through and stretch up and down and back. And this time when you straighten your legs, just leave your arms loose by the side of your body. Great. All right, and then as advertised, bring yourself into chair pose as though you were sitting back into an imaginary chair. And the knees flex, and it's a slight squat through the knees and the hips. Then let's add the arm movement and extend the arms up alongside the ears or alongside your cheeks and reach the fingertips out. At the same time as you draw your hips back, feel the fold at the front of your top of your thighs, drawing back. And then exhale, straight arms and straight legs by your side. Good. Let's go again. Inhale, arms come up, knees bend. Good. And let's challenge the leg muscles a little bit by drawing the buttocks back. Take your squat nice and deep at the hips. And then duck your chin down and look at your feet and see if you can take the knees back a little bit so you can just see the front of your ankles now, without lifting your hips. Good. And then release, and arms down and legs straight. Last one of these, big sweep of the arms up as you take your partial squat. Move your hips back, move your knees back. Good. This time not looking down, but looking out towards the horizon, or even tilting your chin up a little bit and looking at the tips of your thumbs. Good. Let's hold it a little bit longer and test those quadriceps, the front thigh muscles. Good work. And then release and give Give it a little bit of a shake out. Arms, legs, shoulders. Beautiful. And then we're going to come onto the mat in a lying down position on your back. And in a moment we'll be doing some of the bridge poses. So once you're lying down, your legs are bent and your feet on the floor near to your buttocks, and your arms just loose by your side. Take a moment, nuzzle in the sacrum and the shoulders and the shoulder blades so that you feel completely supported on your back. Then bend your elbows and fold your hands so they rest onto your abdomen or your core muscle area. We'll do a simple breathing exercise again. Can't really overdo this emphasis on breathing in yoga. Breathing is everything. So take a deep breath in, and without going into the bridge or the physical part of the bridge, just work with your breath. Take a deep breath in and inflate your abdomen and your chest. Take a deep breath out and feel the navel move towards the floor. Your bottom rib cage at the front move towards your abdomen. A little tilt through your pelvis. Inhale is broad and big. And same thing with the exhalation, and drawing the core muscles in, maybe lifting through the pelvic floor as well. Inhale to exhale. Let's go for a few more rounds and see if you can make the connection with the breathing that we did when you were holding your hands around to the armpits, and that armpit chest area was opening on the inhalation and releasing on the exhalations. All right, and then last exhalation here. Just pause again. Relax breathing. Release your arms by your side, elbows straight. And then on the next inhalation, lift your buttocks up. Just any amount that your back is ready to do that. And then exhale and lowering down. A little pelvic lift, lifting up through the hips. And with the breath and lowering back down. Imagine when you're lifting up from the tailbone through the lumbar, maybe through some of the dorsal thoracic. Imagine that you're drawing each vertebrae up separately, and the same thing when you lower down. So that's why it's helpful here to work slowly and gently, so that you can feel the sensations of alternately flexing and extending your spine. All right, and then after this warm up, let's make one more lift through the pelvis, drawing up, moving up the spine towards the shoulder blades, and then from here, turn your palms outwards, turn your arms outwards, turn the upper part of your arm outwards, and it may be that you can lift up just a little bit higher, or maybe if you're at your limit, just respect that limit. Pause, open up that chest at the armpits, and then turn your palms down and gradually lower down, drawing the tailbone away from the rest of the spine and taking rest there. Relax your shoulders, relax your facial features. All right, and then come on up to a kneeling position. And until my knees are fully warmed up, I'm going to take my yoga block and blanket and place my blanket where I can kneel on it. That's much kinder to my knee bones. And what to do with the block? I can sit on the block, sit my sitting bones up on the block between my heels. Right, and once you set up like that, let's do a little exercise that incorporates the shoulders and the arms again. Bring your hands into prayer position in front of you, and then bring your elbows together, and lift your elbows up in front of your chest, maybe a little bit higher in the line of your head. And then start to bring your arms back behind the line of your ears. So the elbows part at this point and spread. And then point your fingers down towards the floor or down towards the space between the heels. And what you've done is you've lifted the front ribs and narrowed the back ribs. Can you allow the front ribs to relax again? And we're stretching the elbows up, and it's a big shoulder stretch. Good. And then bring your arms back up and down in the front of the body through prayer position, and rest your hands onto your thighs. Lovely. And then from there, let's do one other movement, which is a strengthening part of what you've done here. Bring your hands into prayer position in front of your chest again. Draw your forearms together. So your forearms, your elbows touching. And when you've done that, then squeeze your elbows together. Squeeze your elbows together. You're putting considerable strength into that movement. Now that armpit area, that armpit chest area is contracted quite a lot. And then keep on working on your strength. We're going to hold it for a few moments longer. And imagine that you're trying to pull your hands apart. Keep your elbows pressing in, your forearms pressing in, and as though, it's not going to happen, but as though you're pulling your hands apart. At this point, my triceps are shaking a little bit. Okay, good. And then let all that go, and happily let go of all that effort. Great. So sitting on your block, separate your knees a little bit. Now, if you've got a good hip flexion here, and the knees will allow it, then probably you don't need to use your block. But I find it quite comfortable in the beginning, especially in the cold weather when it takes a while to warm up the joints. Step your hands forward and come into a forward bend in that kneeling position. And your hands straight out. Now, lift your elbows and connect your forward stretch with the upper arms and the shoulder blades. Shoulder blades stretch as much as the arms are stretching forward. And then duck your chin in towards the notch of your throat and lengthen the back of your neck. Beautiful. Step your hands back. Come right in and upwards, and then bring your hands around to the right side. And as you come around to the right side, press your right hand a little bit more. Lift yourself right up again, and then turn from your belly muscles, from your lower ribs. How much can you turn from that part of your body? And then as you come around, maybe as far as you can go at the moment, bring your chin down and lengthen out. If your left buttock's lifting, then stretch it back down. Good, let's take a walk around to the left side and all the way around. Buttocks are still back as much as possible. As you come around completely to the left side, now instead of going down, press your hands and lift up your chest again. Lift up your ribs your lower ribs away from the thigh and drag them across to the left side. Good. Press a little bit more with your left hand. Keep turning. And then for the last part, stretch it out. Stretch your arms out. The elbows are still straight. And stretch your right buttock back towards your right heel. Okay, good work. And then draw your hands back to the center position. And begin to come all the way upright. And let's go into cat pose. Take away your blanket if you don't need that for your knees, but keep it there if for your own comfort you find that helps you tackle kneeling. All right, I'm cat pose. I'm going to turn sideways on the mat so you can see my position a little bit better. So from neutral cat, let's bring big toes together and draw the buttocks back towards the heels. Inhale, come forward and lead with your breastbone. Now your chest is going to come a little forward over your hands, looking out towards the horizon. Exhale, fold back. Inhale, come up and forward. Bring the heart area, the lungs forward. And exhale, roll back. Make your breathing nice and deep and long. And this next time when you come into cat pose and you're looking outwards, then tuck your toes under and let's move into downward facing dog pose. And knees up and buttocks up and stretch back. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale to cat. Exhale to child's pose, buttocks to heels. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, hips up, straight legs, downward facing dog pose. Let's go through the cycle one more time. Kneeling, child's pose, cat pose, and last dog pose, and exhaling. Good. And then walk your hands in, walk your feet forward, flex your knees, sit your buttocks back, and with your arms loose by your side, roll up to standing. Okay, let's take a lying down position, face down this time on your mat, and take some support underneath your hips again. I'm going to bring my blanket back, and when I lie face down here, I'm approaching some baby backbends, we call them. So in your lying down position, fold your arms and your hands rest one on top of the other, and then rest your head onto your folded hands. Relax your shoulders. Tuck your toes under, so coiling your toes under, then lift your knees and feel your leg muscles engage. So working from the lower body here, and the tailbone is moving towards that space between your heels, lengthening. So if you can bring a little bit more weight onto your pubic bone, lift up through the pelvic floor muscles, and if you can do this, then lift up through the navel. Then from your prone position here, bring your arms out to the side. I call this Sphinx pose, when your elbows are on the floor near to your ribs. If you look at your hands, all 5 fingers or 4 fingers and thumbs pointing straight forward. And then from this position, either rest on your chin or your forehead. Switch on those leg muscles again. Knees lift up, and then lift up your chest into just this tiny extension through your upper part of your back. Imagine pulling your hands back as much as you can towards your wrists. And as you do that, you'll feel your tricep muscles start to work, or at least that's what happens for me. And then begin to lower down and relax for a moment. Let the knees drop. Good. And then let's come up again. So toes coil under, knees lift up, engage your pubic bone, press it down, lift up your chest, lift up your head, and then from that area of the chest, the armpit area, draw forward. Draw that part of your chest forward as though you could go forward of your hands. Press your breastplate forward and up. Feel your leg muscles working strongly, and you're looking out or looking up a little bit without cranking the head back. And exhale, lower down, and fold your hands and rest your head onto your folded hands again. Rock a little bit hip to hip, keep the hips loose. Good. Fold your arms again as per Sphinx. Your elbows are down, your forearms supported, your fingers stretched. Look towards the right side. Turn your head to the right side, keep your shoulders back, and very gradually begin to lift up your right leg. As your right leg lifts up, keep your left hip down. Just check your shoulders are still relaxed. All right, and in reverse, rest that right leg, look to the left, lift your left leg, and still using some of the same form, so the pubic bone pressing down, and just the right leg, left leg lifting up but not the hip. Good. Rest that leg again. Turn your head to the right. And back to lifting the right leg. This time as you lift your right leg, allow yourself to roll towards your left hip. So you're bringing that right leg across your body towards the left side. You're just getting a nice rotation through the lumbar spine. And then back to the center position, looking forward, lowering the leg. Turn your head to the left. And then gradually lifting your left leg. And then roll onto the front of your right hip, or the outer right hip, and bring that left leg across the body towards the right side. To extend the hip, feel the front of the hip stretching. Back to center. And lowering the leg and coming onto all fours again. Good. And child's pose. Lower your elbows this time. Tuck your buttocks down towards the heels. Draw the elbows back towards your knees and fold your hands, or make your hands into soft fists and rest your head onto your folded hands. Relax your shoulders. Good. Just taking a few breaths there, and then allow yourself to be upright again. And let's take the blanket away so that we can incorporate now some standing poses. Let's see, I'm going to keep my block handy. So in my upright position, standing in the center of my mat, I'll just keep the block off the mat in front of it in the upright position. We'll get to it a little bit later. So sometimes yoga classes are framed in terms of, in themes, a goal pose. If there's any goal pose here, it's going to be reverse triangle pose. So let's start with straight triangle pose and step out on your mat for Trikonasana. Bring your hands onto your hips and turn your feet to the right. Left foot turns in about 15 degrees, the right foot turns out fully 90 degrees. Beautiful. And then still with your hands onto your hips, do a mirror tilt of your body to the right side, over your right leg. I think you know this path so well. And as you're in that tilt to the right side, release your right hand down beneath your right shoulder. Good. Pause for a moment and tone your leg muscles and your buttock muscles. So feel into your back leg and feel on your front leg that the front thigh is lifting all the way up to the hip. Finally, bring the right buttock forward and now bring the left arm up towards the ceiling. Roll your shoulders well back from your neck. Good. Feel the strength through your footing, each foot, the outline of your foot, the quadriceps, the front thigh muscles, and the buttock muscles toned. Good. Inhale and come up. Return your hands to your hips, turn your feet to the left. And pause for a moment. In that turnout of your left leg, draw the left buttock in, and then do your slight tilt over to that side. I can feel my hamstrings working as I extend more to that side, and then release your left hand down and your right arm up towards the ceiling. Check the strength of your legs. Knees up. Strength of that left buttock coming forward. Good. And breathing. Connect with the sensations of your feet holding strongly. And then inhale and come up. Turn your feet forward. And step in all the way to center. Good. Take a little time here to give this basic pose, Tadasana, mountain pose, its due. Feel your stance in the feet, the legs, the buttock muscles engaged, the arms extended. Beautiful. And then step out again. And do some foot rolls. Let's see. Roll in your wider stance now. Roll to the outer arches of your feet, lifting the inner arches. Then do the opposite. It'll feel like you're a little bit knock-kneed now, and roll onto the inner arch of your foot and lift the outer arch. Go back and forth with a few rolls like that, just to wake up the ankles. From pronation to supination. Good. And then after I've done that, I notice that my feet want to turn out sideways. So straighten your feet directly forward. And then your weight falls between the arches. So inner arches up, outer arches are up. And then you've got the good support for your ankles and your feet. Bring your hands onto your hips. Do a forward bend and come maybe a third of the way or halfway towards the floor from the hip fold. Draw the thighs up, so your front thighs pull up all the way into the hip. And then bring your hands forward, and I've got the block on the high end in front of me, and the heels of my hands onto the top of the block. We're in chair pose with Utkatasana. You are drawing your buttocks back towards the wall behind you. Now draw your buttocks forward. Allow your buttocks to float forward and bring more of your weight onto the front of your feet. Onto the frontal foot, the heels are light on. You've increased your hamstring stretch right at the top. Take your shoulders back away from your neck and project your chest where the armpits are forward. Lengthen. Beautiful. And that's a nice warm up. Flex your knees a little bit. Bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale and come up to standing. And step all the way in. Tadasana. Home base. Lengthen your arms. Draw the knees up. Lengthen the backs of the legs. Roll the tips of your shoulders back. Feel how your upper back supports you. This is what you were working with in your back bending movements. All right, and then let's step out again. Let's do one more of these wide leg forward bends, but with your arms out to the side. Come halfway down towards the floor. Now you can use your arms to help lift and open your chest. So your arms out wide to the side like a biplane. Then lift your arms a little bit more and open the corners of your upper chest. Feel your footing strong again. Lift your chest by drawing your shoulder blades closer towards each other. And then complete your downward movement and reach your hands onto your lower legs. Bring your chest forward. Bring your weight a little forward onto your feet and your buttocks forward. And if you like to complete the forward bend here, then slide your hands down to your legs. Bring your head down. Release the back of your neck down. Good. And support yourself with your core muscles. So draw those belly muscles up into the back of your body. Lift your pelvic floor. We're going to release from the pose. Flex your knees just a little bit, and then bring your arms outside to the side again. And with the arms straight out to the side, lift all the way up, the way that you went into the pose. And then as you lower the arms, step back in. Good work. And finally, we're going to get to the turning triangle pose. So get your chair at this point. And then let's say you place it on the right side of your mat. Then you're going to be facing the chair with right foot forward, left foot back. How close am I to the chair? I've got my right foot a little bit behind the front legs of the chair. Then leave a little space between the tops of your thighs. Your right foot's a little to the right, your left foot's a little bit to the left. And then, this is such a lovely movement. Take a forward bend from the tops of your hips. And as you take that bend, bring your hands onto the seat of the chair. Support yourself with your hands onto the seat of the chair. Slide them towards the back of the chair and pause there for a moment and then move your buttocks back. Lengthen your hips back. Keep your chest pressing forward. Hips are back, tailbones back and down, and the hands come forward. You come a little bit nearer to the chair. All right, and then slide your hands all the way back. Bring just your left hand to the center of the seat of the chair, and bring your right hand onto your sacrum, onto your lower back. At this point, you're well into your turn. So you're looking towards the right side, turning towards the right side, from left to right. Bring that right shoulder back, bring the left shoulder blade forward. Right elbow back, right shoulder back, left shoulder blade forward. All right, and then that's a really lovely warm-up to what is to come. Bring your hands back, both hands onto the seat of the chair. Move your buttocks back, flex your front knee, and come all the way up with your hands onto your hips. Inhale, and come up. Swap your legs, left foot forward, right foot back. Good. When you've placed your legs apart like this, rotate your hips so that the right hip is going to come a little forward, the left hip back. Feel the strength through the feet and the legs, and then take a dive forward from the hip fold and bring both hands onto the seat of the chair. Take advantage of lengthening the spinal column. It's a beautiful movement. And then we're going to move into the rotation. Just your right hand onto the seat of the chair. In the center of the chair, left hand onto your sacrum. Turn as much as you can to the left side. Left elbow back, left shoulder back. Feel into your right shoulder blade and bring it a little bit further to the left. You're looking to the left, turning to the left. Good. Bring yourself front and center, and both hands onto the seat of the chair. Buttocks move back. Flex your front knee. As you bring your hands onto your hips, press into that left foot. Come up, straightening your leg. And we'll move on and to the next stage, and right foot forward, left foot back. Good. Just pause there. You're in your asymmetrical position, one leg forward, one leg back. Square your hips, level your hips, and bring your right hand back onto your sacrum. Bring your left arm straight up towards the ceiling, and then turn your torso, turn your body so that you're looking to the right side. Press your feet strongly and start to cast that left arm out and over the chair. And when you're as far forward in that movement as you can, bring your left hand onto the seat of the chair again. And then turn a little bit more. Lift up your chest and turn and turn. And as you've turned as much as you can to that side, you might explore extending your right arm up. And if you find that kind of jams up your shoulder joint, then keep your hand onto your sacrum, and you're doing a really good rotation in any case, whether the arm is bent at the elbow or the arm is extended. Good. And then moving slowly and in control, bringing the both hands down onto the chair, turn back towards the chair. Flex your front knee, bring your hands onto your hips, inhale and come up. And change your feet and left foot forward, right foot back. All right, left hand onto your sacrum. Lean back a little bit into your right leg, and then extend your right arm straight up towards the ceiling. Nice long right arm. Turn, look to the left side, because that's the way that you're rotating. And then cast that arm out and over the chair. You're in a forward bend over towards the chair. Right hand down onto the seat of the chair. Turn and rotate towards the left. Turn your chest. Turn that left elbow back. And you may at this point have room for you to extend that left arm as part of your turn. If not, then keep your hand down to your sacrum with the elbow bent. Good, look towards the chair. Place both your hands onto the seat of the chair again. Feel like you can make a deep hip fold at this point, drawing your hips back. Then bend that left knee a little bit, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale and come up under control. Step right foot to left. Good. And then We're finished with the chair for the time being. Move it back off of your mat. And we'll finish with Parivrrta Padottanasana, the wide leg forward bend. So facing towards the long end of your mat again. Your block in front of you for support. We can create one more twist here. So take a forward bend. And as you bend forward, reach down and let's leave your hands at the top of the block, heels of the hands. Let your hips float a little forward. And now bring just your left hand to rest, heel of your hand onto the top of the block. Bring your right hand down to your right hip. Such a similar movement to what you've done with the help of the chair. And now with the help of the block, keep that lower arm straight and turn as much as you can towards the side. Look that direction. Feel into the opposite leg and make sure that the whole surface of your foot is onto the floor. Feel the inner arch, the outer arch of both feet and turn. Let's swap it over, look down. Exchange your hands, and then bringing your hand down to your hip, turning to that side. Good, looking to the left side. And then feel into your right leg and strengthen your right leg by lifting the kneecaps, lifting the inner knees. Turn back and look down. Both hands onto the top of the block. Telescope your chest forward, lead with the armpit chest, and then here we go to the right side again. Support yourself onto your left hand, turn. And you probably know in the sequence of what we're doing, what is coming next. If you like, and it feels like a safe movement for your shoulder, extend up your arm towards the ceiling. You're looking that direction, maybe you can see your hand, maybe you can see your thumb. Good, and then releasing, right hand down, swap them over, turn, and turning a little bit more, and then if it's there for you, extend up your left arm. This is where you need to read your body and calibrate your effort, your movement, so that it feels supportive. Challenging, but not over your limit. And then looking down, and both hands down. Beautiful. And then shuffle your feet in, toe, heel, all the way to center. Bend your knees, and inhale and come up with your arms by your side. Good work. And then the block away for just a moment. And bring back your chair. Okay, I've got my chair facing towards the camera, the front seat of the chair. And I'm going to take a seat. And with this theme of tackling rotations for your spine, twists for your spine, let's do a side saddle seat on your chair. So turn so that the right side of your body is facing the back of the chair. And then bring your hands onto the back of the chair. Lift your elbows a little bit out to the side, and then turn. As you begin to turn, just notice where that movement is for you. The neck, the upper part of the spine, the lower ribs, the navel. Keep your 2 feet on the floor And your knees either touching or just parallel, close together. And when you lift your elbows out to the side like that, broaden your back chest. Open up the back ribs. Turning and breathing. You're still able to breathe easily. All right, and then let's go around and all the way to the second side. Walk your feet around, turn your body. Once you're fully turned, then rest your hands onto the top of the chair. Get a good handhold there, lift your elbows up wide to the side. See how broad you can make your back feel. And then as you get into your twist, you're looking around and rotating. One side invariably feels like an easier turn than the other side. See which side this is for you. And then as you're turning, taking note, neck, upper spine, rib cage, belly. And you're still grounded through both buttock bones on the chair and your 2 feet on the ground. All right, and then we begin to move out of the pose. And let's go back to the original side and work with your breath a little bit more. So now I've got my right side facing the back of the chair again. Bring your hands up, place them on the top of the chair. Now you know the pathway to this really well. We've done it once each side. Elbows lift up. And lengthen your spine from the tailbone right up through the back of your neck to the occiput. Looking back. Release your shoulders. Your dorsal thoracic, the back of your spine, will be a lot more flexible for turning if you release your shoulders down. And then working with the breath, inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. Inhale, elongating, exhale, that's giving you space to turn. One more breath like that. Good work. Let's go last side. Feel your feet, your 2 feet. Feel your 2 buttock bones on the seat of the chair. And then working into your twist. Go on, keeping those elbows nice and wide. Keeping them a little lifted, but your shoulders down. And then take your breaths. Let's go 3 deep rounds of breathing. And finishing on that 3rd exhalation. And then releasing from twist. Face center, front and center. And almost like a reward, it feels like such a nice movement after twisting your spine. Have your feet a little separated and you're sitting on the edge of the chair. From this position, come onto your elbows. Elbows resting just above your knees onto your thigh muscles. And then really, really gentle manner, lengthen out. As you draw your trunk out and forward, then still feel your buttock bones pressing down. Bring your arms down so they line up with your legs. I've got my forearm bone in line with my shin bone, elbows against the bottom of my knees. And then you've got a little leverage there. You can push with your arm bones and lengthen out still more. Feel the front of your torso lengthening, the frontal chest lengthening forward, and then bring your hands onto the floor in front of your feet. Buttocks are moving back, but your arms can move forward any amount. What to do with your neck? Keep it in a nice straight line with the rest of your spinal column. So good. And then step your hands back towards your feet. Bring your elbows back onto your knees. Dig your elbows in. Inhale and come up. And we're done with the chair now, so let's put that to the side. And for the last twist, let's take a seated position on your mat. And you're going to be facing towards the camera. I've got a nice bolster here to sit on, but you could sit on a folded blanket or even your block. But it is really helpful to have a little bit of lift. A way for you to be able to sit straight. And then extend out your legs. From your seated position, bring your hands back behind the line of the body. I've got my hands up on my bolster, and then press your hands down, lift the corners of your chest up. So this is where you were holding your fingers at the front of your chest for the deep breathing. So feel that part of your chest alive, your shoulder blades close together, tips of your shoulders back. Lovely. Then bend your right leg and slide your right heel in towards your right buttock. Do a wrap around and fold your arms around the front of your right leg. Duck your chin down. And feel that you've brought your thigh right into the rib cage, into the diaphragm. And keep that position there, but sitting somewhat upright. Bring your right arm behind the line of the body and behind you. And keep a hug with just the left arm. Then lift up your chest and bring yourself into rotation towards that right side. Look to the right. Maybe look all the way around over your right shoulder. Bring your right hand back a little bit further. And at this point, it's very much to do with your own anatomy and your ability to rotate. You could lift your elbow over the knee to the outside of the knee and use that elbow against the knee for leverage to turn to the right side. If for some reason that doesn't seem like it's working very well, assess that for yourself. And you can still hold on with the crease of your elbow and turn. And it's very, very effective in any case. Good, let it all go. Let's change legs. When you step your foot in, it's right up against the support that you're sitting on. And then let's do a hug and hold that thigh in close to the rib cage. Press your foot down, press the thigh close to the diaphragm, and then merely use your left arm to hold the leg in, right arm to hold the leg in. Bring your hand behind you, press that back hand down and lift the chest up and turn as much as you can, and especially through the bottom of your rib cage. Then if you're ready to move into the next part, lift your elbow, bring it up and over to the outside of the knee. If that's not accessible for you at this time, then just keep hugging the leg in towards the chest and turning in that direction to the left. Good. Lift up your spine. Release your shoulders down. Lift the front chest up. Look over your shoulder. Good, and then releasing, bringing that leg forward and straight forward. Let's do one more because you've set yourself up through the warm-ups and the earlier twists. when you bend your right leg in, you're going to step it across to the outside of the left leg. Clasp your hands and bring them to the front of your right knee and then lift up. Lift up tall. Feel the whole elongation from the tailbone right up to the base of your skull. Okay, and then just slip one hand around the outside of that knee, bring the opposite hand behind you, keep the thigh drawing towards your ribs, and turn. And now it's more of a belly twist, if you can feel that for yourself. The floor leg is lengthening out straight behind the knee, and you're keeping the bent leg close towards the rib cage. If you want to go that extra distance, and you can, extend up your arm, bring the elbow across to the outside of your knee, turn your palm to face towards the right side, look to the right side or over your shoulder. And finally, then turn your head, look towards the screen, and then release. And let's go one more round to the opposite side. When the right leg is straight, you're going to step your left foot to the outside of your right knee. Take a moment, hug that knee in towards you. Keep the thigh close to your ribs. And then just hold with your right hand. Bring your left hand behind you. Sit up nice and tall and straight. Beautiful. Think of the good that you're doing for your internal organs. So the organs of elimination and digestion as you turn all the way to the left side. And in the last stage, sometimes one side can turn more easily than the others. As I was saying, lift your arm and bring it to the outside of your knee if that works for you, or keep hugging the leg in. Sitting tall. Sitting tall and proud. And look over your shoulder. And last of all, looking towards the camera with a pleasant expression on your face. And then release, and both legs straight. Good. Both legs straight in Dandasana. Stretch behind the knees. Bring the hands back behind you. Draw yourself up to your full height. Through the frontal spine too, from the pubic bone to the jugular notch. Beautiful. And then after your good work this morning, let's take the Shavasana position. And occasionally I'll use the chair for support, and I'll show you how you can do that. Or you can be just reclining and lying on your mat as you usually do. All right, if you're using the chair, then in this manner, lying in front of it, bringing the lower legs, just the lower legs out to the seat of the chair. And your weight rests on the back of your torso, the back of your head. Seems a really lovely and connecting, self-nurturing movement to rest your hands onto your abdomen or onto your centered chest. So you're either lying straight in Shavasana, the yoga relaxation, or the legs supported onto the chair. Take a little bit of extra time to make sure that you're fully warm enough to be lying quietly for a few minutes. That you've done everything to make yourself the most comfortable that you know how in your lying down position. Let's face it, if you don't do it, there's not going to be somebody to do it for you. So do check in and see that you've taken care of yourself. And you've either got your hands resting on the frontal body or by your side, but in any case, feel your breath. As we move into the yoga relaxation, and the message is really to let go, surrender the body, surrender the weight of the body. And switch over from thinking about how to do that to just sensing and feeling what it takes to release. Sometimes that's as simple as noticing where there's still a holding in the body. Letting go of the big muscle groups that you worked with. The thighs, the core muscles, the chest muscles. And taking a couple of deeper breaths and letting go of the fine muscle areas of the body. Tiny muscles around the orbits of the eyes, corners of the nose and the mouth. Swallow very lightly and relax in the lining of the throat. Feel the softness and the gentleness of the breath as it comes and goes in this quietening way. If other thoughts arrive, let them pass right through. Just like the clouds on these mostly blue skies at the moment, just feel those thoughts scuttle on. And return to the sensations of breathing. Or even letting go of the breath as an anchor and allowing yourself to feel empty of thought. begin to take a few longer breaths in the lengthening of the breath. Bring yourself fully back into the physical sensations of your body. And as you anticipate moving again and becoming active, allow your mind to remain quiet and peaceful. And when you're ready to move, then bend your knees in towards you and roll on to one side. No rush whatsoever. Let's sit together here at the end of the session. And when you find your way to being upright again, we'll join our hands in the traditional way, where the hands are in prayer position in front of the chest. Lift your elbows a little bit. And then drop your chin towards your heart. Feel that you can elevate and open your heart. And the practice that we do encourages that. Shoulders are relaxed, face nice and unlined and smooth. Feel what you've done for yourself in nurturing your own body. And the way that we join together to do practice. Mentally connect with others on this call and just others in the world generally. Send out your goodwill. Namaste.